We're using your room. We're going to use your room for the nursery. That was the first thing my sister said. No hello. No knock. Just her standing in my doorway like she'd always stood there, like the house still belonged to her by default. Her name was Lauren. She held a stack of paint samples in one hand and her phone in the other, Pinterest open, already zooming in and out of someone else's perfect life. I was sitting on the edge of my bed, boots off, uniform pants still on. I'd been home less than 2 hours after a 24-hour shift at the firehouse. My body felt heavy in that deep, bone-level way that sleep doesn't fix. What? I said. Lauren smiled. Not warm. Decisive. Isn't it exciting? She said. We're finally setting up the nursery. I stared at her. This is my room. She waved that away. Well, it was. I looked past her into the hallway. My dad stood there with his coffee mug, staring into it like the answer might be floating inside. My mom hovered behind him, hands clasped, already bracing for fallout. I was 29 years old. Still living at home. Not because I was lazy. Not because I couldn't afford to leave. Because I was a firefighter. My schedule was brutal. And my parents had offered to rent me my childhood bedroom so I could save money. $2,350 a month. Every single month. So, Lauren continued, tapping the paint samples against my doorframe, we're starting renovations this weekend. My brain lagged behind the audacity. Where am I supposed to sleep? She didn't hesitate. You'll figure it out. I turned to my dad. Dad? He shrugged. Barely. Family grows, he said. People adjust. That was it. No discussion. No warning. No consideration. Just, adjust. Part 2, rent without a room. I pay rent, I said slowly. My mom lifted her hands like she could physically stop the tension from escalating. Caleb, don't turn this into a fight. I'm not, I said. I'm asking a basic question. Lauren sighed like I was being difficult on purpose. You're not paying for the room, she said. You're paying to live here. I stared at her. And living here means I don't get a bed. Dad took a sip of coffee. It's temporary. How temporary? Lauren's eyes lit up. Well, the baby's due in 4 months, but obviously we want the nursery ready early. Then there's the newborn phase, and sleep training, and then toddler stuff, and... So never, I said. My mom jumped in. Your sister needs support. I laughed once. It came out wrong. I'm her brother, I said. Not her spare furniture. Lauren stepped closer. You're barely home anyway. You're always working. Yes, I said. Because I run into burning buildings for a living. She rolled her eyes. Here we go. Something in me shut down. Not rage. Clarity. I stood up. Okay, I said. Lauren blinked. Okay. I walked past her. Part 3, packing without permission. I grabbed the duffel bag from the linen closet and started packing. No speeches. No threats. Jeans. Shirts. Socks. My mom's voice sharpened. Caleb, what are you doing? I'm leaving. Lauren laughed nervously. You're being dramatic. I'm not. Dad watched me like he expected me to fold. Where are you going? He asked. Not concern. Logistics. I'm moving out. My mom's face tightened. You can't just. You just told me I don't have a room, I said. That feels pretty final. Lauren scoffed. You're acting like we kicked you out. I looked at her. You did. Dad set his mug down. Don't be petty. petty," I said. "I pay you more than most people pay for a mortgage, and you took my room without asking." Mom snapped, "We're family." I stared at her. "Then stop charging me rent." Silence. That silence told me everything. I slung the duffel over my shoulder and walked out. No door slam. No yelling. Just cold night air and the sound of my boots on concrete. It felt like stepping out of a burning house and realizing you'd been choking for years. Part 4, A Couch and a Question. I slept on my friend Derek's couch that night. 10 minutes from the station. He didn't ask questions. Just said, "You good?" That was enough. The next morning, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. "Hi, this is Kevin from Ridgeway Renovations," the voice said cheerfully. "We're at the property and ready to begin." My stomach dropped. "Begin what?" "The nursery remodel," he said. "Quick question though, who's paying?" "The invoice is $35,800. I sat up. "What contract?" "It's under Caleb Harris," he said. "That you?" My mouth went dry. "Yes." "Well, the deposit was supposed to clear this morning, but it bounced." I checked my bank app. $8,900 charge attempt. Declined. My bank's fraud alert had saved me. "Do not start anything," I said. "I'm on my way." Part 5, The Contract in My Name. When I pulled into the driveway, the crew was already there. My mom opened the door before I even shut my car. "Oh, Caleb, hi. Why is my name on a renovation contract?" I asked, loud enough for the contractor to hear. Her smile flickered. "You're overreacting." I walked inside. Dad sat at the table. Lauren scrolled on her phone like nothing was happening. "There's a $35,800 renovation in my name," I said. "I didn't sign anything." Dad folded his paper. "Lower your voice. You committed fraud." Mom whispered, "Don't say that. You used my email. My card. My signature." Lauren shrugged. "You live here. Your family." "No," I said. "Family asks." I walked back outside. "I did not authorize this," I told the contractor. "Any signature you have is forged." The crew packed up. Lauren exploded. "You're ruining everything." "No," I said. "You ruined it when you decided my money was yours." I canceled the automatic rent transfer on my phone. "Right there." Mom whispered, "We already planned for that money." I nodded. "I know." And I left. Part 6, Aftermath. I filed a fraud report. Changed every password. Locked down my accounts. Found a one-bedroom apartment near the station. Old carpet. Small kitchen. Quiet. Perfect. When Derek helped me move in, he handed me a beer. "You okay?" I looked around. "I think I finally am." Part 7, Guilt as a Weapon. The messages came fast. "You're choosing money over family." "Your sister is pregnant." "You're breaking your mother's heart." Then the police called. Then my mom showed up at my door weeks later. Asking about money again. I closed the door. Part 8, The Truth Nobody Wanted. "You didn't even ask," I told her through the crack in the door. "You just took." She cried. I didn't move. Part 9, Fire and Clarity. That night at work, we pulled kids out of a burning row house. Afterward, sitting on the engine, I realized something brutal. I'd been doing that at home too. Running into smoke for people who kept lighting the match. Part 10, A Door That Stays Mine. People ask if I regret it. I don't. I still help people. I just don't help the ones who think love means access. She called me late one night. I don't want to get involved, she said immediately, which is always how people start when they absolutely want to get involved. But your mom's been telling people you had some kind of breakdown. I closed my eyes. A breakdown? She said you're overwhelmed at work, that you misunderstood the renovation, that you stormed out and cut everyone off. I felt something tighten in my chest. Not anger. Disappointment. They weren't just refusing to take responsibility. They were rewriting me. I corrected her calmly. I didn't misunderstand anything, I said. They used my identity to sign a contract. A long pause. Oh, she said. That's different. Yes, I said. It is. After we hung up, I sat on my couch and stared at the wall. That's when it hit me. They weren't going to apologize. They were going to control the narrative. And for the first time, I didn't rush to fix it. Part 14, the police follow up. The detective called 2 days later. Just checking in, he said. We spoke with the contractor. My stomach tightened. And? They confirmed the signature didn't match your ID. IP address traces back to your parents' home. I exhaled slowly. What happens now? He hesitated. That depends on whether they cooperate. I knew what that meant. Family pressure. Minimizing. Excuses. They're saying it was a misunderstanding, he continued. That they believed they had permission. I laughed once. Permission isn't assumed, I said. That's the whole point. He agreed. Just be prepared, he said. This can get uncomfortable. I thanked him and hung up. Uncomfortable was fine. I'd lived in discomfort my whole life. This time, it just wasn't mine. Part 15, the visit that changed everything. My mom showed up unannounced again. This time, she brought paperwork. I just want to talk, she said, standing outside my door like a salesperson who didn't plan to leave. I didn't invite her in. She handed me a folder. It's a repayment plan, she said quickly. For the deposit. We'll handle it. I flipped through it. No apology. No admission. Just numbers. You still don't get it, I said. Her face crumpled. What do you want from us? I looked at her. I want you to say it, I said. Out loud. She swallowed. Say what? That you used my information without asking. That it was wrong. She hesitated. Just long enough. I'm sorry you feel hurt, she said. There it was. The fake apology. I closed the folder and handed it back. I'm not doing this, I said. Her voice rose. So you're just going to let your sister suffer? I met her eyes. You don't get to use the baby as leverage. She flinched. That was new. Part 16, choosing myself without apology. After she left, I sat on the floor of my apartment for a long time. No TV. No phone. Just quiet. I thought about all the times I'd said yes when I meant no. All the times I'd paid to keep the peace. All the times I'd confused endurance with love. Here's the thing no one tells you, walking away doesn't feel powerful at first. It feels lonely. It feels like grief. But then something shifts. You stop bracing for impact. You stop explaining yourself. You stop shrinking. And one day, after a long shift, you come home, unlock your door, and realize, no one is waiting to take something from you. That's when you know. You didn't lose your family. You lost the role they assigned you. And that's not the same thing. Part 17, when consequences stop being theoretical. 2 weeks later, the letter arrived. Certified mail. I knew before I opened it that it wasn't good news. It was from the contractor's legal department. Not threatening me. clarifying that I was no longer liable, and that they were proceeding against the homeowners for misrepresentation and attempted fraud. I sat at my kitchen table reading it twice. This wasn't drama anymore. This was real. Paperwork. Timelines. Consequences that didn't care about family titles. That night, my dad texted me for the first time since the phone call. "We need to talk. This has gone too far." I stared at the message. Too far. Not we crossed a line. Not we're sorry. Just, inconvenient. I didn't respond. Part 18, the baby arrives. Lauren went into labor early. I heard about it from my mom's Facebook post. Smiling photos. Hashtags. Blessed. I sat on my couch with my phone in my hand, thumb hovering over the screen. This was the moment they'd been waiting for. The emotional reset button. I didn't press it. Because here's the truth no one wants to say out loud: a baby doesn't erase what came before. Love isn't retroactive. You don't get to burn someone's house down and then invite them over to admire the nursery. I muted the family group chat. For the first time, I chose peace over proximity. Part 19, the voicemail. The voicemail came at 2:14 a.m. My dad's voice. Unsteady. "This is getting serious," he said. "The police, lawyers, your mother's not sleeping. If you have any decency left, you'll call us." I listened to it twice. Then I deleted it. Decency had never been the issue. Compliance was. Part 20, the final conversation. A month later, I agreed to meet my dad. Neutral ground. Coffee shop. Public. He looked smaller somehow. Older. He didn't waste time. "You've embarrassed this family," he said. I nodded. "You embarrassed yourselves." His jaw tightened. "You could have handled this privately. You made it public when you used my name." He leaned forward. "We raised you. And I paid you," I said calmly. "For years." That stopped him. I stood up. "This is the last conversation we're having about money," I said. "If you want a relationship with me, it starts with honesty and respect. If not, this is where it ends." He stared at me like he didn't recognize me. Maybe he didn't. I walked out first. Part 21, what healing actually looks like. Healing didn't look like forgiveness. It looked like routines. Groceries I didn't have to justify. Bills I understood. Silence that didn't feel dangerous. It looked like coming home after a fire, sitting on my floor, and realizing no one was about to ask me for something. It looked like freedom without applause. Part 22, the lesson I didn't want, but needed. Here's what I learned the hard way: some families don't want you to grow. They want you to stay useful. They call it love. They call it loyalty. They call it sacrifice. But real love doesn't require access to your bank account. Real family doesn't repaint your life while you're still living in it. I didn't lose my family when I walked away. I lost the version of myself that thought endurance was the same thing as belonging. And I don't miss him.